Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry, 24/7 shopping available. 160920 is the code. Show her some love, like she showed us. K&A Custom Crafts on Facebook.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Coast to Coast Entertainment Network. I am Ace, and you are watching another episode of Sportsminute. And tonight, you are joined by none other than that man that we call him Big and B. How you doing tonight, my man?
Hey, doing good. Had a great week of sports. Watching game one or the playing game for the NL. Great game. So can't wait to break it all down.
Absolutely. All right, Mr. Chris P. Bacon, how are you doing?
Doing good. Glad to be here. And it was a great week of sports.
Great week all around, man. Great week all around.
That is
Tell
true.
you what. So we have some awesome topics for you tonight that we're going to go ahead and, jump into. So the goal was, because I had thought, since the game started at 5 and the wild card round for the NL, I thought that the game was going to be over by the time we went live tonight. But, as you can see, it's not. We're in the bottom of the ninth right now. So anyways, with that, we can talk about yesterday's game. And Chris, I'll start with you. Who did you have? Who did you have in the AL wildcard round?
You see, it was the
what team did you pick? Did you pick the Red Sox or did you pick the Yankees?
Oh yeah, I picked the Red Sox to win over the Yankees.
You know what? And it felt so dang good. Huh?
It did. I just felt like they're the better team of it. I know Yankees kind of struggled off and on through the year, and Boston kind of was ahead for most of it. So,
well, this was the problem though that I was having when it came down to it. When you remember when the Yankees went on that 13-game winning streak or whatever. I know a lot of Yankees fans. And so when they went on that 13-game winning streak, that's when all the trash talk started coming out. And they're like, this Yankees team this year is a different team. This team is too good. We're going to beat anybody. And then it gets around to playoff time, and they're like, oh, this team just didn't have it. This team wasn't. I'm like, what is going on right now? I'm like, how do you flip-flop? I've never seen so many people flip-flop in my life, but I did have the Red Sox. Evaldi, yesterday really stepped up. He really stepped up. I wasn't expecting him to step up like that, but he did. And so I was impressed. Garrett Cole, he struggled, but I don't think a lot of people realize that in his last 7 starts, he had an ERA over 7 in his last 7 starts. So he struggled mightily. But Big B, I'll go to you. Between the Red Sox and Yankees, what team did you have?
I had the umpires. I wanted this game to go long. No, I had the Red Sox. I can't root for the Yankees, no matter. They could be playing a high school team, and I probably still would pick the high school team. But I had the Red Sox. I did want it to go extra innings, just to kind of make it more memorable, but it didn't. And the Red Sox won. So that's all that matters.
So my wife actually asked me a question today that was interesting, and I didn't even know how to really answer the question because
so you got it wrong.
No.
Oh.
No, she was asking my opinion about
So again, you got it wrong.
Yeah, I guess. So she was asking me about the championship series, going, okay, so picture this. She's like, let's say that it's the NLCS and you okay, I'm sorry. She said World Series, not the NLCS. She said World Series.
So
but she said picture this. She said if you have the Yankees versus the Dodgers, what team are you going for? And I'm like, "Oh crap." I was like, "Oh dude, that's a tough one." I don't even know at that point, man. I honestly don't even know.
I mean, it would be one of the probably highest watched World Series in a while. For me, I would want it to go 7 games.
Do I really?
Yeah, I couldn't pick a winner. I can't stand either team.
Yeah, I was gonna say, would I really have to pick anybody? Like that's the thing.
Beat them both up. Have like 6 fights every game.
Yeah. And then they go, "Oh yeah, we can't finish this because both teams are fighting against each other." I'm like, "Yeah, please." I just can't do it. Like those are like 2 teams that I'm looking at that I'm like, man, I just couldn't do it. It would be like me in the NFL in the NFC championship game having like the Cowboys versus Bears. I would be like, "Oh my God, what team am I going to go for?" That would be that would be rough.
That would be. I mean, unless they're 2 evils, I guess. I mean,
yeah, but so you said that you did have the Red Sox in this game.
Yes, I did have the Red Sox. I can't root for the Yankees. Like I said, they've beaten up my Twins so many times that it seems like every time the Twins play them, there's like 20 guys in the outfield. They can't get a hit. So.
Well, and this is so I actually read something funny today that I was going to actually mention to you about. And when I read this, I'm like, what the heck is this guy talking about? So this Yankees fan actually posts and says, you know what? The Yankees would actually be a good team if the owner and GM wasn't so cheap and actually opened the checkbook. And I'm like, what are you? I was like, what are you talking about? Open the checkbook. I'm like, they go out and get everybody as it is anyways.
Yeah.
They're one of the reasons why everybody wants a salary cap in baseball.
Salary cap, absolutely.
And they're one of the teams against it. So,
yeah. You would have teams like the Yankees and Dodgers who would be against it.
Boston,
but Boston doesn't go out and sign like a ton of big guys
once in a while, but every time. But the thing is like every time Boston signs a big guy that the Yankees want, that's when the Yankees are like, "Oh, we need a salary cap," and vice versa. When the Yankees do it, then Boston's like, "Oh, we really need a salary cap." It's like you guys are doing the same thing.
Yeah, and so when I got in this discussion the other day with somebody, their whole thing was that they go, well, I know the Dodgers go out and because they were a Dodgers fan and stuff. Yeah. So they're like, well, I know the Dodgers go out and sign everybody. Why don't other teams do it? And I'm like, because there's some teams who can't. There's some teams who don't have the money to do it. You have teams like Oakland and Tampa Bay. They don't have the money to do that.
But I think it's one of those where if Oakland or even the Twins here, if we brought in a big name pitcher, you can't tell me jersey sales wouldn't go up. The tickets to the games wouldn't go. I mean,
they
definitely
might, but they don't have that kind of money at first. Like if somebody's no, but I'm saying like if somebody's hitting free agency, you have a team like Oakland or Tampa Bay there's
teams that rely on their farm system a little bit more than they should.
Yeah, definitely. And they're trying to, because they're trying to get those players. But the thing is they go, okay, we'll offer you this. But then you have like the Yankees and Dodgers and Red Sox that go, oh, no, we'll offer you this.
And the thing is there's nobody in any sport that's worth the money that they're making.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
no, I agree with you on that. I'm just saying like this is the way this was my biggest problem with the MLB, but that's why when it comes down to it, I typically say that's why I like a salary cap. I do. I don't know if you guys are for it or not, but I do like a salary cap.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, it keeps everything fair. You don't overspend on players.
And it's over.
I think that's what.
It is.
I think that's what the NBA.
Right call, wrong person, I guess.
the NBA sometimes does. They can overspend a little too much on players at times.
Well, but that's the thing is they got they call it a soft cap in the NBA where they got this cap number, but if you go over it,
You just
It's
pay a
fine,
luxury
but-
tax.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was
you
gonna
just
say
have to
that.
pay a little bit
That's it.
extra
You
into
just
the
pay a
pool,
luxury tax.
which
Yeah.
makes no sense. You either got a salary cap or you don't. I
Right.
honestly think the NFL, outside of these guaranteed contracts, probably have the best salary cap around.
No, and that was one thing that I was going to say. Like the way the NFL does their salary cap is perfect.
Yep.
I like it because they do tell you if you go over the salary cap, they go there is no luxury tax. You have to release a person,
Yep.
or you have to somehow
Negotiate.
fix. Yeah, you have to renegotiate their contract and fix it to where you're not over the salary cap anymore. And I think that's what's so perfect about it. And so I'm like, all right. Well, obviously we see that the Dodgers won 3-1 with the walk-off home run by Taylor. That means I got to listen to Dodgers fans for another freaking week or whatever it is. Hopefully.
Well, at least it wasn't. Didn't you tell me that somebody told you there was going to be a no-hitter last night and
yeah,
perfect
so
game tonight?
yeah, so they said that there was going to be a no-hitter last night, a perfect game tonight, and then they said that the Dodgers were going to go in and sweep the Giants, and then they were going to go in and sweep in the championship series. And I'm like, man,
Smoking
all
a little
right.
shanky. I see.
Somebody's awfully really high on their team. But anyways, yeah, this was a good game. It was a very, very long game. You know, it actually went to the bottom of the ninth, which we all was actually happy for. You know, that it went to the final inning and it wasn't a blowout.
That's one thing. I mean, put fandom aside or whatever. You sit down in these playoff games. If they're good games, they're going to be fun to watch, no matter how long they are.
Yeah.
You give me a 10-0 game after 5 innings. I mean, that's going to be a long game to watch. But this one was a good one. Congrats to the Dodgers and their fan base, I guess.
No, I won't. I won't ever say congrats to the Dodgers.
But now they get to move on and face the best team in the league, I guess, the Giants. So,
and I hope the Giants sweep them. I do. I really hope the Giants sweep them. They won't, but I really hope they do.
I think it's going to be a good series. So, all right.
So then we go into topic 2, which is a little bit NFL talk. So when we talk about the NFL, we're through week 4 right now. So when you look through week 4, and Big B, I'll start with you. What is your biggest surprise, you would say, so far through week 4? And we'll start team-wise. What is your biggest surprise team-wise?
Well, I think Arizona being the last undefeated team is a surprise. The Rams, I think, are a surprise at 3-1.
Honestly, though, to tell you about the Rams thing, I actually am not surprised.
Well,
because once they got Stafford, we all said they were going to be a really good team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I mean, and maybe the AFC West with 3 teams at 3-1, and one of them's not the Kansas City Chiefs. So,
right,
I guess I would go that route.
And I'm not shocked you say that at all, especially with the AFC West, because if you were to ask me right now, who's last in the division, nobody would ever say Chiefs.
Nope.
Nobody would ever say that.
No, that'd probably be the biggest team surprises.
Yeah, somebody
struggling.
Yeah, somebody might say Broncos. Somebody might say the Raiders. Those are the 2 teams that people would think would probably be last in the AFC West right now. But nobody would think about it being the Chiefs.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, I do have a buddy of mine that is a Chiefs fan, and he's actually in our picks that we do every week. So today he sends me his picks, and I'm looking through it. I'm like, bro, this is the first time you've ever sent me picks, and you don't have the Chiefs picked. And and he's like, yeah, man. He's like, I can't pick my own team. And I'm like, why? He's like, I know I normally do. He's like, but we're so bad on defense, we can't stop anybody, and we're playing the Bills. He's like, yeah, I'm not taking the Chiefs. And I'm like,
wow.
Okay.
Yeah, I think with the Chiefs,
that is going to be a tough game.
with the Chiefs, they kind of have to rely more on their offense,
They do,
Oh,
but
and that's going to be a problem.
well, no, they do, but that's why I've always said multiple times, even like when we lost Jair Alexander for a while, we lost Darius Smith, we lost Chris Barnes, and people are saying, well, you have Rodgers. I get that, but the thing is, defense wins championships. You have to have a defense, because if you don't have a defense, you can't stop anybody. And how the heck are you going to get off the field if you can't stop anybody?
Right.
And that's you.
No, I was just going to say that the offense helps, get you on the board, by scoring, but the defense prevents, the other team from scoring, but helps you out at the same time. So it's, it goes either way.
Yeah, but if you have a defense that can't, if you definitely don't have a defense that can't stop anybody, it makes it for a long night. But Big B, the things that you were saying was surprises so far. Absolutely. Like a lot of those are definite surprises, because the one thing I will say is that
like you said with Stafford, we talked about it. We knew Stafford was good. We've seen him twice a year since he's been in the league. I guess my surprise is that it's all clicking there. That's what my surprise is that it's clicking. So I didn't expect them to be 3-1, after 4 games. I would have taken it 2-2 with Stafford still being a big asset there. So
yeah, and I don't think nobody saw the Cardinals going 4-0. There was no way anybody saw the Cardinals at 4-0 right now. The Cardinals right now is like, and it's early yet, people are, but this is the thing, people are talking about the Cardinals and their 4-0 start, and they're like, oh, could the Cardinals go undefeated? I'm like, come on, guys. I was like, the Cardinals are not going undefeated. They're not doing that. They're gonna lose. The NFC West is just too good, because they still play the Rams, and they play Seattle. They still have San Fran. They still have a lot of good teams left.
They got
to play.
San Fran this week, and if they get through San Fran, they could possibly be undefeated by the Packer game. Because they got the Browns and the Texans after that.
Yeah, but they're going to lose at some point.
Oh, yeah.
They're going.
Well, yeah, but I think he was just figuring out when would they lose.
Well, you got to think.
Could be the Packer game.
They could, if they haven't lost by then. They very well could, but you also have to think how good this NFC West is. So they're gonna probably lose 1 or 2 games within the NFC West itself, because they always battle hard against each other. So they might have beat the Rams, this past weekend. That's fine, but they still have to play them again, and I think the Rams will probably beat them the second time they play. And
they got Seattle. You can't count out Russell Wilson, and
Seattle definitely. I think San Fran will probably split with Arizona.
Yep.
So there's probably about 3 losses right there. Now, this is the thing too when we talk about surprises. We touched on the Chiefs, how kind of struggling they are on the defensive side of the ball. But when you look at the 2 teams right now in the NFL that are winless, you have the Detroit Lions and then the Jacksonville Jaguars. This is the shocking thing. They went out, they drafted Trevor Lawrence first overall. This is when everybody was talking about being like, the Jaguars are going to be better because they got Trevor Lawrence first overall. They're going to be close to a playoff team. They're not going to get there. And these 4 weeks, man, they don't look good. They don't look good.
They played better this last game. They played better, what was it, against Cincinnati?
They did.
They kind of hung in there. I don't know if they can continue that, but
they haven't played. But they haven't played like people thought that they would.
Right.
A lot of people were kind of hyping up Jacksonville, and people even had them to win the AFC South. And I'm like, how? How do you have them picked to win the AFC South? We didn't even know what Trevor Lawrence could do in the NFL, and so far you can see. He hasn't handled it very well. He has not handled that transition from college to NFL very well at all.
No, I think they posted that this is his first 4 losses even since high school, I think.
Yeah, because he never lost in college. So
high school
Well, he
or
lost
college.
twice in college, and then I think only twice in
but-
high school or something.
But that was postseason. I think they're talking regular season.
I don't
Yeah.
know, but
So we have Isaiah who is here, Randy's here, and then Nate's hopping in here. Nate's saying that the Saints are a surprise to him.
that's what I don't get. I guess I don't. I mean, maybe record-wise 2-0 because we didn't think they would get that without Breeze, but
They're
he's
2-2
saying even
though.
What?
They're 2-2.
They're 2-2.
Or 2-2, yeah. So I guess I don't know. I guess.
I think we kind of figured they would struggle only because
Well, yeah, they're
going to
struggle.
Breeze.
I mean,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah, but I think what happened was, and this is what happened. Like you look at Week 1, how well the Saints played in Week 1. Okay. And I even have some friends that are Saints fans. And then as soon as that game ended, they started posting on Facebook going, watch out. The Saints this year, we are a complete team. We're coming. NFL better watch out. And then after 4 weeks, after they went out and lost to the Giants, these fans are like, well, I don't know what to think about this team. And I'm like, after Week 1, you were ready to crown yourselves. And
I think that's how most. I think that's how 50% of fans Week 1 are. Yeah, you get that first one. Yeah, we got this. We're gonna do this. And then Week 2, it's like, you lose Week 2, and it's like, we're not going anywhere.
I see Nate's comment. He said he didn't expect the Saints to lose to the Giants. Honestly, right now, I don't know what Saints team to expect. So
exactly.
Expect the unexpected, I guess. So
we get good Saints and we get bad Saints.
Yep.
Because you have to think the way it's been going. Saints win. They won in Week 1.
Yep.
They lost in Week 2. They came out and won in Week 3. They came out and lost in Week 4. So you don't exactly know what Saints team you're going to get.
No.
And
if they get a good Winston, they're probably going to win. But if they get a horrible Winston, they're going to lose. They're right now is all on Winston at quarterback. What Winston's going to show up.
I definitely was not expecting them to lose to the Giants, though.
Yeah. Again, it's one of those where
allowing 27 points to the Giants, I was not expecting that.
Yeah, I don't know.
But that game did go into overtime.
Yeah.
But still.
No, I agree.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. But now we can talk about, actually surprise players that you weren't expecting maybe to be as good as they were, or they've kind of are like, maybe they'll come back up at some point because they're kind of struggling. So, Chris, do you have any players in mind right now that you're like, wow, this year they're really sticking out? Like they're really showing me this year that they're playing really good.
Maybe besides for my own team, no, I don't. I don't have anyone.
All right, Big B, how about you?
Well, I guess the big one for me would be Sam Donald. I mean, going from the Jets to the Panthers, and we see who the problem or what the problem wasn't in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And rushing wise, I think everybody's just kind of laying low right now. There hasn't been a big rushing attempt, I don't think. And same with receivers. I think everybody's just spreading the ball around, right now. So outside of I'm trying to think of that Carolina guy that had 5 sacks the first week. Joyner, is that who it was?
Yeah.
Yeah, outside of that, he hasn't done much since the first week. So I think Donald and being the Carolina quarterback, I think that's kind of a big shocker. We're seeing, like I said, what the problem wasn't in New York. So
yeah, but that's another thing though too. Like when a lot of people were blaming Sam Darnold on the struggles of the Jets, and the thing is there was some of us who kept coming out saying, well, that's not a fair assessment because he didn't have guys around him, and he didn't. They didn't really give anybody around him. He didn't have any weapons, and he didn't have any weapons. He didn't really have a running back. He didn't have a defense. He didn't have anything on the Jets. And he sure as heck never had a freaking offensive line.
Yeah.
Like never had an offensive line. And so everybody's like, oh, it's Sam Darnold. How's it Sam Darnold? How's it his fault that the Jets are losing when he doesn't have anything? He didn't have nothing.
Well,
And-
I mean, you could say the same thing with the Stafford. I mean, I know he's good. We do know that, but
Yeah.
you could
Well-
almost say the same narrative with Detroit. Oh, it's because of Stafford that they're losing.
Well, Chris, okay, but there's a huge difference between Stafford and Darnold. Okay, like
Right.
we knew because our favorite teams are in the NFC North, so we knew how good Stafford was, and we always came out and said Stafford is an underrated quarterback because we knew what he could do. We knew that, but Darnold was still young and played for a Jets team that were like, even if he had weapons, we're like, what's he gonna do? Because he wasn't even putting up numbers. He wasn't putting up numbers with the people he had. But the difference was Stafford was still putting up good numbers with practically trash roster. And so I was looking at that going, you know what? If he can do this with a trash roster, imagine what he could do with a good roster. And he's showing that with the Rams. And Darnold, nobody knew. Nobody knew. We kind of had a hunch that it could have just been because he was the Jets quarterback. And now he's showing that he was not the problem with the Jets. But can he keep this going? That's going to be the thing. Can he keep this going?
I think
I don't
he
know.
could. I don't know.
Well, it's still a long season left.
Well, yeah.
He plays in a tough conference. Well, not completely tough. I mean, the only really team that I would say he
I mean, he's
would have to
already
face, but Go ahead.
in 4 games. He has 5 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. I mean, 4 more touchdowns. He'll have more touchdown, or 5 more touchdowns. He'll have more touchdown passes than he did last year. So, you know,
right.
Yeah.
And yes, Randy, you bringing that up because we were actually talking about this the other day. We were talking about this at work. And this was the one thing that kind of bugged me. And it wasn't only about Rodgers in general. It was about certain quarterbacks in general. So, you have these certain quarterbacks who go out and have a bad game. Like Rodgers will have a bad game or Russell Wilson will have a bad game. And these guys get bashed. I mean, they get bashed hard because they have a bad game. But then you have guys like like Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady who have a bad game and everyone's like, it's okay. They can have a bad game. And it's like, wait, why is it okay if they do, but the other guys can't? Like, that's the thing. I don't understand it. So that's like my biggest thing. I was like, if you're going to give the treatment to one, you got to give it to everybody else. I mean, that's not.
well, that's just like here. I mean, that's like here in Minnesota. We lose, it's on the quarterback. We win, it's on the whole team. And it's just like, wait a minute, whoa. It
You
can't work
win
like
as a
that.
team, lose as a
You
team.
win as a team or you lose as a team. Yeah, could the quarterback have a bad game? Yeah, of course. Could the quarterback have a great game and we still lose? Yeah.
Or the quarterback throws an interception. It's like, he shouldn't have done that. It's like, well, it's not always on him.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's not.
So,
You have balls that get tipped, at the line of scrimmage. You have just tipped in general or whatever, or the receiver might run a wrong route and the quarterback is expecting him to be somewhere he's not, and he throws it and the pass is picked off and they go, and they go, that was a horrible throw. It's like, really? And the quarterback goes, well, he ran the wrong route. How's that on me?
yeah.
It's like,
I mean,
exactly.
there is times that the defense is going to win you games, and there's going to be times where the offense is going to win you games, But overall, 17 games, it comes down to who's going to play the best ball. I mean, overall. So,
But Big B, the one thing I will say though with you in Minnesota, but you've actually said this a lot, and I'm not knocking on Kirk Cousins. I'm not. But I know a lot you have said this Minnesota team revolves around Dalvin Cook, because you've always said the Vikings go as far as Dalvin Cook goes.
yeah, I mean, for the most part, they do. I mean, and everybody thinks I hate Cousins. I don't hate Cousins. I just personally, back in the day, when we had Case, I would have taken Case over Cousins every day of the week because I knew what he looked like in the Vikings offense. I didn't know what Kirk Cousins looked like in the Vikings offense. So that's just my opinion. The part I don't like is the guaranteed contract. So, but the Vikings have always been a run team. I mean, look at all the running backs we've had: Cook, Peterson, Smith. I know I'm missing a couple guys in there, but it's always been a run first team, and that's you stop the run, you pretty much stop the Vikings offense until they can get a defense that can hang with them. You know, we don't have that right now. I mean, just look at last week. Just look at last week. They stopped the run game. Cousins barely could pass.
Right? Yeah. So you have to be able to put it all together. You do
exactly.
You have to be able to put it all together.
Three functions of the football game, and if you're missing one of them, you're gonna definitely have a hard time winning. I mean, outside of what was it, the Bucks, the first week I think turned over the ball 4 or 5 times or something, and still won. I mean, that's against the odds. Normally, you turn over the ball that many times, you're losing.
So, Nate, I would normally agree with you on something like this, but you got to blame the kicker on that one, okay? It was a double doink, and the kicker has one job. His job is to go out there and make a field goal, and he didn't do it. He didn't do it.
Well,
but also too,
you're gonna talk about kicking issues. I mean,
but also too, I know Vikings are in a dome stadium, but like for Parkey and the Bears, you know, you have to account for like wind conditions and, you know, weather and all that. And you know, sometimes you make those kinds of kicks and sometimes you don't.
But that's life of a kicker.
Right.
It's life of a kicker.
I agree. Yeah.
I mean, the thing is he could have kicked it. Let's just say, you know, he could have put a bigger boot on it. It might have went wide left. You know, this one he went up, kicked normal, and he just got enough we'll call it warning track power, you know, like we do in baseball, you know, and it just bounced out the goalpost twice. Bad luck for him. I mean, if I was him, I definitely would have bought a lottery ticket that day. So
no, but I don't know if we've talked about this before, but if you saw the interview with Rex Ryan after that game, because people were angry at Cody Parkey, like people were like fans were going crazy on Cody Parkey because he missed the field goal. Okay, but Rex Ryan afterwards, you know, they asked Rex Ryan and they said, "Do you feel sorry for Cody Parkey?" And Rex Ryan is like, "You really want to know the honest truth?" They go, "Yeah." And Rex Ryan's like, "No, I don't." He's like, "I don't feel bad for Cody Parkey at all because he's a kicker. He has one job. All you do in practice is go out there and you kick the ball. You have one job to go out there and make a field goal. And if you miss the field goal, that's on you. If it's not blocked or anything and you miss it, it's all you. And yeah, you should get blamed if you miss a kick." That's exactly what Rex Ryan was stating. You know, you have to blame a kicker if he misses it. That's why you see a lot of kickers get released or cut because of the simple fact of they're missing a lot of kicks. And we know you, Big B in Minnesota. We know your guys' kicking issues.
Yeah, we know our kicking issues, all right. I mean,
maybe one day you guys will find that perfect kicker.
Oh yeah, we did in '97. I mean, you know.
No, I'm talking about coming up though. You might find that perfect kicker.
We got the jinx. Yeah, I'm actually just rewatching that.
Rewatching what?
I'm rewatching the doink, the double doink kick.
Yeah, it's the double doink. Yeah.
Yeah, and actually it was going wide left, and the wind brought it back in. So he got saved on the wind. So.
Yeah, but that wasn't the first time that season that he did a double doink.
Yeah, he had trouble.
Yeah, like 4 times that season he did a double doink. So that's why everybody was like, really? 4 times he does a double doink, and their season's going to end on another double doink. But
in the wild card game, that's the one I'm watching right now. Is the wild card game? Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So. He lined up wrong. He went wide left with it, and the wind saved him. And you know, to a point, I guess, because he would have missed it. Well, he did miss it, but but still, I mean,
Yeah.
43 yards out. I mean, that's kind of a hit or miss field goal as it is. I mean, but like you said, I mean, practice 99% of the time he's over there kicking the ball anyways. So
I mean,
I don't
that's
know.
really all you do. But now, since we were talking about, our biggest surprises, I know we kind of talked about, Jacksonville winning a game here or whatever. But the biggest question is, who's going to win the game? Who's going to win a game first? Is it going to be the Lions or is it going to be Jacksonville?
I think Detroit. I feel like they've been in
You better
most.
not say this weekend either, there, Chris. I'll come find you, fry you
So-
up, and put you on an egg sandwich.
So, Chris, just so you know, they play Minnesota this weekend. So that's
Yeah, I
why
don't
he's
see it
saying
happening.
that's why he's saying
No.
don't say Minnesota. Don't say
It
Minnesota.
wouldn't surprise me.
Watch, I'm
It
just say
wouldn't-
no. Watch, I'll say no, and they pull out something.
No.
If they
I
do,
mean-
blame it on Chris. He jinxed them. So
I'll blame it on
here-
the idiot kicker.
So here's the Lions' upcoming schedule. This is their upcoming schedule. So this coming week they play Minnesota,
Mhm.
and then after that they play the Bengals. Then after that they play the Rams,
Mhm.
and then after that they play the Eagles, and then they have a bye week, and then they play the Steelers, and then they play the Browns. Then they have the Bears. Then they have the Vikings again. Then they have the Broncos. They have the Cardinals. They have the Falcons. They have the Seahawks, and then they have the Packers.
The only one game I could see is Steelers at the moment. Maybe the Bengals, but they're starting to play better. I'm not saying they're really good, but they're starting to, to find their stride. That's not an easy schedule.
They have the Falcons. I mean, they have Falcons later in the year. So if they're winless at that point, they could potentially beat the Falcons. But their schedule's not easy. They don't
No.
have an easy schedule. They don't. Big B,
Either
what
the-
do you think?
Yeah.
What
Well,
team
if they
do you
don't do
foresee
it this weekend against the Vikings, I mean, the Steelers are up there. I mean, they could possibly do it there. At home against the Bears, possibly. I mean, so we're looking at, if they don't do it this week, I would say the safe bet would be either the Steelers game or the Bears game.
And I know you don't like to say it, but I know we talked about it before, and you said don't be surprised if they beat Minnesota in Detroit. Yeah, you said in Detroit.
Yeah. Yeah. Or also going to go 0-17 and they'll get their first win next year. You know.
That could be a possibility too. And then so you look at that, and we said that their schedule, is like really tough at that point too. Like they got a tough schedule. And then we look at Jacksonville's schedule, and coming up this week they have Tennessee, and then after Tennessee they play Miami, and then they have Seattle, and then they have Buffalo, and then they have Indianapolis, then they have the 49ers, then they have the Falcons, then they have the Rams, then they have the Titans again, and then it goes Houston, the Jets, the Patriots, and the Colts to round out the season.
When's their London game? I know they got a London
I don't think
game.
they played London this year.
They don't.
There's a game this Sunday in London.
No, I think with COVID, they're not playing London this year.
Yeah, this year I don't think they are.
They are.
Oh, wait. No.
Jets and Falcons are in London this weekend.
Dolphins and Jets are in London. That's 8:30.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
they are playing.
I think,
wow.
So Jacksonville will win that London game.
Well, yeah, that's their home game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and that's on the 17th. Yeah, when they play the Dolphins.
Because this week the Jets and Falcons have a game in London.
Do they really?
So
They do.
Yeah. So you have the Dolphins losing to Jacksonville on the 17th in London. That's when you're saying they're going to get their first win.
Yes.
Okay. Let me see.
Wow. Okay.
Well, let me see here. Where is Jacksonville's schedule?
So Randy says by this schedule, he thinks that the Jaguars have it easier, but they don't have that much of an easier schedule. Like they play some tough teams. And But Christy Wilson saying that she believes that the Lions will beat the Eagles.
Could.
Well, that could happen. I mean,
Possible.
So Chris, you're saying Dolphins?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, they're kind of playing decent ball.
I'm kind of looking towards later in the season.
After that, I mean, the next possible winning game they would have
The Falcons.
Falcons probably, Falcons will be winning game, but I was thinking more either Texas or the Jets back to back. I mean,
So Randy Cox saying, I think the Lions will beat the Vikings. And he says, I'm sorry, Big B.
Yeah, go smoke some Shanky. Go play with your Shanky or whatever. I mean, no, trust me. Anybody that picks the Lions, I ain't going to be mad at them because I'd probably pick the Lions. I mean, if it wasn't at home, I definitely would probably pick the Lions. But,
but this is the thing about the Lions, though. Like, this is the interesting thing about the Lions, okay? They've actually been in games. Yep. This year. They've been in games. But they found ways to lose the games.
Yep. Well,
every week. Every week they do.
Awful. I mean,
and Chris, you were going to say something, though.
Oh, I was looking at Nate's comment saying that he's asking if Jacksonville has more of a home field advantage in London than they do in their home stadium. I feel like they do.
Honestly, I don't think either team's going to have a home field advantage in Jacksonville. They just like football. I mean, that crowd's going to be sold out and pumped.
Oh, absolutely. But I think people continuously ask, why does Jacksonville keep getting sent to London? Like, I think people are getting sick of watching Jacksonville every year in London.
Well, from what I heard, the owner kind of made an agreement with the NFL that no other team wants to go because of logistical.
It's that early start,
but Jacksonville seems like they like it. So I mean, they put their hat in the ring every year.
Yeah. And who knows? Maybe one year we might have. Go ahead, Big B.
Oh, I mean, they probably get a big cut of the profits and stuff from the gates and all that. So that's probably why they go. I mean, and I know where Ace is going, and I don't think it'll happen.
What, a team being in London? They could.
Yeah, I mean it could, but I think it would have to be for it to work. I think they would have to actually have a whole four-team division over there. I think because the travel time and stuff. I mean, you could have them play, each of their home games first or whatever, or like a little round robin tournament over there. They bring 2 over here, and then we ship 2 over there for a couple weeks, and then vice versa. So,
well,
I don't know.
So Christy Wilson is saying, I think it's because the family owns Fulham FC in the Premier League soccer. So, I mean, it could be. It very well could be. And yes, Nate, since you're on the West Coast now, watching a London game on the West Coast is completely different where you're going to watch it at other places. Because for us to watch the London game, we have to get up at 6:30 in the morning and watch a London game.
That's early.
6:30 in the morning.
Yeah, because it comes on at 6:30 over here to watch a game in London.
Well, I got a buddy that's over. Tim Hendricks, he's a viewer of the programs, and he's living in Italy right now. So he said all our games are prime time, their time. So lucky him.
Yeah, and so and I usually watch the London games anyways because I usually end up waking up anyway. So
Randy, I don't think should say that he's going to be watching the game at work. Because I think I know your boss, and I think he might know that.
Sorry, I was just tagged in something, and Isaiah's going crazy about Carmelo Anthony playing for the Lakers, and he's like, I want to cry, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. Take your AARP team that you have in the Lakers that are going to be hurt halfway through the season because all your players are old, and
But no, I would just comment to that. Randy said that he's going to be watching the game at work when it's the London game. And I said he probably shouldn't announce that, since I know his boss. So.
Good point. But so I think most of us would agree right now or say I think that Jacksonville will probably win a game first.
Well,
before
I mean, the whole thing going into last year's draft, and I know I made this and I get laughed at every time. Jacksonville and the Jets both should have traded out of their 1 and 2 picks and got as much as they got. One guy was not going to make a difference this year, so
no.
They should have got as much as they could have got for those picks. And one of them or both of them probably in the top 3 again. So, you're not going to take a quarterback back to back. So this might be the year you guys might want to think about trading out.
Very
get
well
what you can for them.
Well, so this could actually end up being an interesting scenario because let's say Jacksonville gets the number 1 overall pick again. then what the heck happens? Because you can't take a quarterback again because you just took Trevor Lawrence.
Like I said, I get laughed at all the time. And it's like, yeah, if I was Jacksonville last year, I would have traded the number 1 pick for as much a Herschel Walker type deal. Because one guy's not going to make a team. And I get it. And this is why I don't like, this is the best thing, the best players, the best prospects since whoever. Because you never know. Whatever offense he gets into, I mean, Lawrence ain't looking like he's the best thing coming out of college.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, yeah, I would trade. Now, again, Jacksonville gets the 1st or 2nd pick. The phones are open. They should trade away it for as much assets as they can get to help better their offensive line, defensive line, and so.
Yeah, and just think, when that draft happened this year, though, like the 49ers wanted to move up to pick 1. And so when they move up to – if they were to move up to pick 1, like Jacksonville could have actually got quite a few things from the 49ers. Now, I'm not saying that Jimmy G's a great quarterback,
no.
but they could have said, hey, if you're drafting Lawrence number 1, then give me Jimmy G.
Give me Jimmy G, some picks.
Exactly.
Your best one of your best backup offensive linemen. I mean,
so they could have got more than what they got right now at number 1 pick.
That's what I'm saying. And next year they're going. I mean, unless there's a bona fide stud offensive lineman that you're taking number 1, you're trading out of that if you got the top 3 picks.
Well, you have to if you're Jacksonville because you don't know what you're going to do. Because
exactly.
Most of the time, a number 1 overall pick is a quarterback. Generally.
No, you're right because they're the can't miss guy, and that's to me the can't miss guy and the gold are kind of in the same conversation. It's something that nobody's going to fully agree on. I mean, so
no, that's definitely something that not everybody's going to agree on that, but. Big B, we're going to go to you on this one quick here. So, do you have a WNBA update for us?
Yeah, let me just playoff time. My Lynx barely or got beat luckily, I guess, or the refs probably blew the game or something. I don't know. I didn't see it. So today's game was actually game 4 is here. The Sky over the Sun and the Aces over Mercury.
Yes, sir.
I would guess that was the finals there. They don't.
It was
Chicago.
It was for Chicago because Chicago won 3 games, so they moved on.
Okay. So
the Aces are tied at 2.
So the Aces go back home on Friday against the Mercury.
Yes.
Go Mercury.
Shut up, Brandon.
Yeah. So the Skies are in the finals. And game 1 will be Sunday. So
And the Aces are coming.
next. And the Mercury's coming. Okay.
No, not the Mercury. The Aces. The Aces
I
are
guess
coming back.
I guess I would have to go with the Aces. I mean, they're in the same division, So but-
Definitely, the Aces are going to be there. And then when the Aces get there, I can tell you guys who laughed at me when I said my Aces were going to be in the finals.
You
And
just
I'm
like
I
because they
told
got the
you.
same name as you. You could name 5 ace players on that
No.
team.
So
Oh.
Christy Wilson. So Christy Wilson is saying, looks like my Aces and Sky WNBA Finals prediction is closer to becoming a reality. And then Randy Cox is saying, I still haven't seen a WNBA game yet.
Well,
And-
if you turn off your Matt Riddle videos, you might get to watch one.
And it's true though, as much as we've talked about it, Big B and Randy still's never watched one.
Randy, what are you doing, man? I mean, watch it. You'll see some. Here's why he doesn't watch them. They got better hair than he does.
Good point. Yes, sir.
And they look better in shorts.
Oh man, I tell you, we looking forward to the game tomorrow night or what? Because it's an NFC West matchup.
It is.
We're talking football or basketball?
We're talking
Football.
football. We're were you done with your?
Yeah, that was it.
Okay.
That was
Yeah, I want to make sure. Okay.
nothing.
So we have an NFC West matchup tomorrow, and this is actually another good NFC West matchup.
It is.
Yeah.
I
So-
agree with that.
Big B, what team you taking tomorrow?
Whew. God, it's tough. I mean, it is really tough. It's a short week.
You're gonna either have the Rams go to 4-1, or you're gonna have the Seahawks go to. So the Rams could go to 4-1, and then
And the Rams are
Seahawks could
favored
drop.
by 2.5. So.
Yeah, and the Seahawks could drop to 2-3, or you could have each team at 3-2 by the end of tomorrow night. So,
Or you could just have a tie and
right? Yeah,
blame
you
the
could have a
refs.
tie too. You could
No,
have a tie
I
too.
think the Rams will do it. I think the Rams offense, their defense is hot. I'll go the Rams.
Taking the Rams.
No,
All
I'll
right,
take the
Chris,
Rams.
how
Yeah.
about you?
Yeah, I'm taking the Rams too. I mean, Seattle's been good in these Thursday night battles, against the Rams, but I feel like now that you have Stafford, Los Angeles does. I think they're going to be a tough team for Seattle.
So, Christy Wilson is saying that she's taking the Rams, and if they win, I can talk smack to one of my coworkers who's a Seahawks fan.
Don't wish that because it always backfires.
Exactly.
It always does, yeah.
I have a lot of Seahawk fans around, like a lot of Seahawk fans around here. There's a lot of them, and you wouldn't believe like the type of crap that we go through with Seattle fans around here. Like it's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. There's not too many Green Bay fans around here in Oregon, and so like we get it, man. We get it from every side, from the 49ers fans, Seattle fans, just Raiders fans. It's crazy around here. It really. Oh yeah, and those pesky freaking Cowboy fans. That's even
Portland,
worse.
really?
Yet. Oh yeah, that's even
They
worse.
practice in California. California.
Yeah, but it's funny because in Minnesota, of course, it's Minnesota, it's Packers, it's Bears mainly. Then occasionally you'll bump into a guy. He's like, "I'm a Lions fan." It's like, "Oh, okay, go back under a rock." I mean, I didn't know you guys existed. So
So that I can say I have not ran into any of them. Well, no, I ran into one Lions fan around here, but she actually told me that she actually didn't watch a lot of the Lions games because she just got tired of watching them after a while because she got tired of the disappointment. But so she said she would constantly check up on the score, but that was about it. But she wouldn't actually watch the games.
well, Randy, your brother's a little bit smarter than you are because you're a Cowboy fan. He's a Packer fan, so he's a little bit smarter than you are.
Well, it's those pesky Cowboys fans, man.
Yeah. Well, in Minnesota, the Packer fans ain't any less peskier. The one thing I got to say though for Packer fans, as much as they annoy me, your team could be 1-15, and you're going to back them every game.
Yeah. We'll still back him, but the one difference about that is
But
that
you guys know when it's not your year.
exactly,
certain Cowboy fans.
and we're not going to come out every year and say this is our year, this is our year. We're not going to do that. If we know that we're having a bad year, we're going to be like, okay, we're not doing anything this year. But then you have those Cowboy fans. This is our year, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, just make a trade with Minnesota. It'll be your year in 4 or 5. I mean,
that will go down as probably the biggest heist in the history of the NFL. I don't even know how
that heist is probably the biggest one. The second closest one would probably be Mike Dick and the Saints when they traded all their draft picks to Miami, was it, to get Ricky Williams or something like that?
Yeah, it was Miami. But don't forget though the Bill O'Brien.
Oh, I remember that.
With DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, that's chump change compared to. I mean, it was a heist. I mean, no doubt about that.
Well, it was a heist, man. That was a freaking heist.
The thing is, though, is we talk about all these trades. What did the Rams give up to get Stafford, and that might be the heist of nowadays, and the Lions are the ones that got Jude out of it.
Wasn't it like 2 first-round picks or
but if you think about it though, Chris, like people were giving the Rams a hard time, being like they gave all, and I'm like they were brilliant.
They don't have a first-round draft pick until 2025.
Yeah, but I'm like they were brilliant. They were brilliant because if they come out and win a Super Bowl, it's all worth it. It's all worth it.
Exactly. The Lions are the ones that got screwed out of the deal.
Absolutely.
But you also got to think of it too, and it kind of works in the NFL. In order to make money, which in this case is the players, you have to spend money. You have to get rid of players
Chris,
to get good players.
But people were like knocking the Rams, being like, well, they gave up Goff and like 3 first-round picks, and so I'm like, but you got to understand. Now the Rams are actually in contention to win because they have a quarterback. And so I'm like, if the Rams win one Super Bowl with Stafford at quarterback,
oh, shoot. They make the playoffs before the Lions do. I mean, that's a success.
He'd be a hero. He'd be a hero.
Exactly. And so at that point, then people would be like, well, maybe that wasn't as bad a trade as I thought. I'm like, no, it's not. I've said it before. That's not that bad of a trade. It's really not.
Yeah.
The Rams were brilliant for it. They got what they needed because Goff certainly wasn't the answer.
Yeah, and he took them to the Super Bowl, didn't he? I mean...
Yeah, but
he took them, he kind of led them.
But I guarantee though, if Stafford was quarterback on that team, the Rams win that Super Bowl.
Oh
yeah,
the Rams win that Super Bowl.
I was the quarterback of that team. I probably would have won the Super Bowl.
I probably win it. Yeah, anybody could have probably won that. Probably.
I don't know. DiNucci, I don't know, would have won the Super Bowl. Chris. I don't know.
There was a lot of NFL quarterbacks that you could have stuck on that Rams team that the Rams would have won the Super Bowl.
Well, that's just like the one that Seattle just blew. You could have called any other play at the 1-yard line, would have won you the Super Bowl.
But you go for a freaking pass.
Yeah. and honestly, if I was a guy that picked it off and I didn't stumble, I would have taken it to the house. He had a clear shot to the house. I would have ran it. I would have taken it to the house.
Of course you would have. You would have.
Oh, yeah.
Would you high step?
Oh, I would have high stepped for the 50.
Yeah. That was, but so that's pretty much the episode. But the final thing, though, since we're talking about heists on trades, let's not forget about the great heist that the Cardinals got when they went and got Arenado from the Rockies. That was a heist.
Yeah, that was probably the most modern day heist. I mean, you said Hopkins was a good one. I mean, there's never, everybody's like, oh, they need to do a Herschel Walker. There's never going to be a Herschel Walker trade ever again.
No.
11 guys for one who ended up had one good game for Minnesota and ended up in 2 years back on Dallas. So Dallas pretty much got 11 guys for nothing.
I mean, pretty much nothing. But well, Nate, I brought it up because it's one of the great heists on trade-in MLB, man. It is because somehow the Cardinals got Arenado and plus got money from the Rockies on top of paying Arenado's contract.
That's got to be the funny part of the whole thing. It's like, well, we'll trade you this guy. I don't know if I want him. Well, what if we pitch in and pay 30% of his contract? Okay, we'll do it then.
Right. Yeah, and you have to give us money on top of it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah. And then Dave's saying, how about the heist the Padres got in trading James Field for Tatis Jr.'s? Yeah.
Well, but one thing, Dave, is the White Sox would not have been able to afford his contract. So, you might be happy. You might be happy that he's not there.
No, I just saying I will never get over the Arenado trade because that was just I don't like. Can you imagine what went down in that? Like on that phone call in that room, being like, I don't want him. Well, we'll pay you to take him. Okay.
that reminds me of what we talked about before the movie Moneyball, where they're talking with Dave Justice in the batting cage. He's like, you're paying me $20 million. No. Yankees are paying 16 of that to play against them. So that's how bad they wanted you out, I mean, just think, even back for the Herschel Walker trade, you call up and, all right, hey, you guys want Herschel Walker? Okay. Well, we want this. All right, we'll do it. So it's like, what? I mean, yeah.
All right, well, maybe next week, Christy, maybe next week or maybe even Saturday, we can make that one of our topics since you want to talk about trades because we're at that hour mark now. So we want to go ahead and wrap it up. But we will make this one of our topics. We will come back to trades and we'll talk about NBA trades and, MLB trades and NFL trades. Whatever you want to hear, we will talk about the trades. So we'll make it one of our topics. But anyways,
I mean, who knows?
Absolutely. So to round out the night, Chris, I'll start with you. You got 30, 45 seconds. Go ahead and say whatever it is you need to say.
Thanks for, tuning in, interacting with the show. We all enjoy that. Stay with Coast to Coast. We got great shows lined up every day, each week. So make sure to tune in.
All right, Big B, how about you?
Thank you for joining in. I love interacting with everybody. One thing is if you're a sports fan, this is like Christmas time because you got basketball and hockey starting up, baseball playoffs, football's in week 4. So if you're overall just a sports fan, this is the time of year to be a sports fan. Right now, October and November. So, but with that being said, you guys all have a good night and keep tuned in to Coast Network.
Do we have ESPN? Yes, I do have ESPN.
ESPN, what's that? I don't know. I don't know what that is, Chrissy.
ESPN. Yes.
Randy does have ESPN. He thought you said ESPN, like in the mind. He doesn't know what ESPN is.
All right, ESPN. That's true. He does not. All right. So anyways, we do want to thank everybody for watching. It's been another great episode of Sportsminute. Thank you to all of our viewers. Dave popped in at the end. We have Christy Wilson. We have Randy Cox, who's out there. We have Nate. And if I missed anybody else, Isaiah, who decided to pop in here for like a second or whatever. So with that, I hope everybody has a fantastic night. And we'll see you tomorrow for an episode of Chilling with Isaiah and Ace. So have a great night, and we'll see you then.